Just everything's going wrong tonight. That's why I'm recording this. This stupid MapQuest's got me going down one-way roads, got me going on highways, and I definitely set it to avoid highways, so I didn't make that mistake. But here we go again. Trying to take the sidewalk because it's definitely safer than these roads, which are not safe. There's not even a bike lane. So I don't know if that's against the law or not. There's no sign that says it is, but it's definitely arguable that it's much, much safer to go on the sidewalk. And I mean, you know, what are they going to tell? This thing goes about 15 miles an hour. It's a little electric scooter. What are they gonna tell somebody on a wheelchair? I see people on wheelchairs all the time driving on the sidewalk. Now this thing goes slightly faster than a wheelchair, but I'd rather be on this thing than in a wheelchair by driving on the highway and getting hit. Not that I'm on a highway. I'm on East Adama Drive, but it's a 4-lane road. Speed limit I think is about, I don't know, 45 to 50 in some places. So it's not my preference because there's not a bike lane in the section where I'm at. There's a bike lane further up. I drove it here today, but there's not a bike lane where I'm at. So I'm trying to stick to the sidewalks until the bike lane comes back, because it's just too dangerous to drive on the same road where cars don't share the road. And what's funny about driving here this morning, I was driving on the bike lane, and the bike lane ends, and there's a sign that says share the road, but nobody's sharing the road, so I literally had to go on the sidewalk. I don't think it's illegal. I'm not in a motorcycle. There's no driver's license necessary for this scooter. It's electric. It's way under 40 cc's. It's got no gas, no engine. It's got an electric motor. Here we go. It's got a 900 watt electric motor and a 1,000 watt controller. So if anybody's looking to buy an electric scooter, you can get one for under $500 if you're lucky on eBay. And what you really want to look for is the wattage. You want to make sure, especially if you live in the mountains or there's a lot of hills, you want to make sure you have at least 900 to 1,000 watts. You can get away with it for about 850 or 800 watts. My original scooter was 750, but I couldn't get up the hills with that, so I had to get a different engine. I'm sorry, a different motor is what it's called. So I got like I said, 900 watt motor, 1,000 watt controller, and in that way I get up and down hills no problem. And I installed it all myself with a little bit of help from my friend Nathan. His company name is Intuitive Minds Designs, and we've worked together on a couple of projects. So far so good here tonight. I'm on a wide sidewalk. Oh, that did say, wait, no, it said bikes are allowed. I don't know. They need to clarify the laws here. This thing, as far as I know, this thing falls into the category of a bike. It's questionable though. But like I said, it's much safer on the. It's a huge sidewalk. There's like plenty of room here, and it's so much safer to ride on this. It's basically a road that they're calling a sidewalk. There's no sign that says no motor vehicles, and it does say bikes are allowed. And there's nobody else on the freaking sidewalk anyway. And I'd rather drive on this thing than on the highway. I don't know what I'm going to do when I get up here, because as far as I know, the sidewalk ends. I'm hoping it doesn't. I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably have to drive on the grass. I really should have been on the other, well, it'll be fine. I wish you could see what I see, but I don't know how to switch it to camera view for more than just the selfie camera. There's probably a way, but I haven't figured it out yet. To view the screen, to view the selfie camera, and to view the frontal camera would be nice to figure out, because then I could record my journeys on my electric scooter. Definitely an economical way to travel, and it doesn't pollute. But I still got to breathe in all the I get the karma for everybody else driving their dinosaurs. Everybody's driving dinosaurs with windows closed, AC on, climate control. I got to breathe in all the carbon monoxide, but at least I'm responsible enough not to pollute. Let's see, I think we're coming to the end of this. I should cross when I can, because I think we're coming to the end of this I'm going to cross. Yeah, because over there on the left-hand side where I just was, the sidewalk ends fabulously enough, so I have to drive on this 4-lane road for a minute until I can get back to the sidewalk. And okay, the bike lane starts up again. That's good.
In 150 feet, stay left. In 80 feet, stay left. Stay left onto East Adama Drive, Florida 60. Continue 5.7 miles.
Gotta fix my brake. Gotta fix my bike seat. My bike seat bolts need to be tightened. And the bike lanes just ended again. It's ridiculous. So I'm sitting on the seat, but if I'm not careful, it tips up and it tips back. I need to get a ratchet set, or what's the name of that? Ratchet set, or a something wrench, a socket wrench that fits the bolt that I need to tighten so the seat stays in place. Alright, I'm getting back on the sidewalk. I can't deal with this highway thing. It's not literally a highway. It's like 50 miles an hour, so it's pretty damn fast, and it's 4 lanes, and there's no bike lane to speak of. Actually, there is, but it's crap, so it's much safer at night to drive on this sidewalk. There's not a soul on the sidewalk. And this particular scooter at most goes, maybe 15 miles an hour downhill. Usually I'm going about 10 miles an hour to conserve electricity. Right now I'm doing about 3 miles an hour. Gotta get back on. Getting back on the bike lane again. Fortunately, there's a bike lane. I want wanted to record this just for documenting this particular relatively unsafe journey, which is not my choice. I'd rather, safety first. Freaking ridiculous how everything's built for cars. Nobody thinks about people walking no, that's not true. That's not true. Here in Florida and Tampa, there's tons of sidewalks, which is really nice. And obviously there's a bike lane where I'm at right this moment. Not before, not earlier, but at least right here there's a bike lane. But it's right alongside a 4-lane, 50-mile-per-hour highway. That's ridiculous. They need to consider that they need to protect bikers and pedestrians, I would say, with at least 5 feet leeway from the highway, and have a lane separated from the highway, if possible, or at least make it legal to drive on the freaking sidewalk. They pave the sidewalk everywhere. They might as well make it legal if it isn't. It might be. I'm assuming it is. I had no choice. So I was like, okay, I think it is. I don't know. It's not in North Carolina, relatively speaking, but I've never been hassled for driving where I have to drive. I did get hassled for carrying a skateboard, a mountain board. Carried a mountain board downtown Asheville. And the cop said, 4 wheels on the ground, I'm going to give you a ticket. I had it in my arms. I was carrying it. He didn't give me a ticket. But it's ridiculous that low-income people who can't afford a car are not allowed to ride a skateboard in downtown Asheville? That's ridiculous. Fortunately, in West Asheville, it's allowed. Oh my God. Freaking on the highway and the bike lane just ended again. Why don't they give me a little notice? I think if I can get over on the sidewalk, I'm going to, but I'm currently on the shoulder on the highway. I'm calling it a highway. It's not literally a highway because I'm not literally, legally allowed to drive on a highway. This is not a 65-mile-an-hour interstate. It's a 50-mile-an-hour side road that's 4 lanes. But I'd rather not be on it, to be honest. I'm on the shoulder right now. Breathing in the freaking pollution. I am getting over on the sidewalk as we speak. Yeah, fuck the rules if it's gonna endanger my life. I'm on the sidewalk. It's much safer. It's got a 10-foot distance between the sidewalk. No, that's about a 6-foot distance right now. It narrowed. 6-foot distance from the sidewalk to the 4-lane road. Now it got wider again. And now it's about a 5-foot distance from the sidewalk to the 4-lane road. And the pollution's awful. Really awful. But hopefully I'm setting a good example. And definitely for low-income people, this is the way to go. Because electric scooter... I honestly found this particular electric scooter on the curb. Somebody threw it out. In Asheville, we have a lot of giving people, and people put stuff out on the curb. But even though they put it on the curb, I went to the door to knock to make sure I'm not taking some kid's scooter. So I knocked on the door, and they said, "Yeah, take it. We don't want it. It's rusted. It's old. We don't need it anymore." I took it home, took out the engine, recharged the battery, put in a new brake, put in a new throttle, up and running. And then I decided 750 watts isn't enough. So I got a 900 watt motor and a 1000 watt controller. I've spray painted it to my liking. And I'm loving it. It's no gas ever. Never have to think about jumping on it. I always can go anywhere I want. Anywhere in terms of 15-mile radius. And of course, all the asshole rednecks want to yell at me because they're so cool. I'm not yelling at them for being morons, but they gotta yell at me. And what's worse is when they endanger people's lives by screaming at them while they're riding a bike or riding a scooter or walking along the road. And what do I mean by endanger somebody's life? Well, if you startle somebody, you know, they may get upset. I'm not that easily frazzled, but I figured I'd talk about it. I'm trying to make this an interesting video to speak about my journey here. And I'm not trying to be racist against rednecks. I live in the South. Haven't gotten a redneck yet, although my arms are tan. It's nice weather here. I am wearing long pants and long sleeve shirt, but the last week or so until 2 days ago has been 82 degrees during the day. At night it went down. The beginning of my trip here in Tarpon Springs, it was 65 at night, but then it went up for a week for like 82 as a high. I think there was 84 one day. And then now it's coming back down a little bit at night. It was hot today. I was out with short sleeve shirt, shorts. On the way home though, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt and long pants. I wonder if I went too far. Where am I? Let's see. No, still a good ways to go. And there's no crossing here, but there's no cross light. Here's the cross light. And it's a go. It's so I'm not going to race it. It's 24 seconds. Okay, I got it. 21, 20 seconds. 18, 19, 18, 17. Crossing over the highway. Not the highway, I don't know what this freaking thing is called. It's hard to stay entertaining and focused at the same time. I'm usually good at focusing on at least two things at a time, but more than that gets too complicated. So please forgive my lack of being entertaining. This is more for safety reasons and documenting my journey than some kind of entertaining video. Holy shit. And the other thing they need to do more on these bike lanes is use the street sweeper more. You got a street sweeper in Asheville. Use the freaking street sweeper, because the dirt and the dust and here in Florida, the sand, if you're not careful, will pull the tires right out from under you. Fortunately, on a little electric scooter, it might seem more dangerous than it is because of the cars. But when you're just driving on a sidewalk, no big deal. Or driving in a bike lane, usually it's not so bad. Even if there's sand, because all you got to do is jump off the scooter. I mean, it's tiny. I can just step down on the ground or have the brakes working good. Now, the brakes are working pretty good on this thing. I need to tighten them a little bit, but they're working fine. And like I said, when I get back to the hotel, Motel 6, I need to tighten my seat so it's easier to sit on. Fortunately, the pole's in the middle, so the seat is balanced on the middle, so it tips forward and tips backwards if I'm not careful, but at least I can balance. If I stay balanced, I can sit on it in the middle. And of course, with a scooter, I can stand up if I really wanted to stand up. And I do sometimes for visibility stand up. But right now I'm on the sidewalk, so it's probably no big deal. And fortunately, the good difference between Asheville and Florida, Florida's got sidewalks everywhere, for the most part. Although this one just ended. Right when I said they got sidewalks everywhere, the sidewalk ended. And I don't know what to do now. Let's see, is there a bike lane? There is, on the highway, a bike lane. I don't want to go on the highway. Let's see, I'm just going to drive on the grass for a minute. Maybe the sidewalk will start again. So I'm driving on the grass. down the 50 mile an hour Adama Drive shoulder, because there's no more sidewalk. I really need to get off this freaking road. But there isn't a shoulder, at least. We're coming up to civilization. I'm sure there'll be a sidewalk up ahead. And like I said, it's nice that they have sidewalks here in Florida. Relative to in Asheville, there's not even a shoulder in downtown Asheville. It's just a curve on Brevard Road, for example. There's potholes, there's curbs, no bike lane. There's a sidewalk on part of it, but realistically, it's not really where to drive your scooter. Better for pedestrians. I guess even on Patton Avenue they do have a sidewalk, but as far as I know, it's illegal to drive a scooter on a sidewalk. I don't know. They need to clarify the laws because there's so many different types of vehicles. I'm sure it's illegal for a regular 40cc scooter, but in terms of a bike or an electric scooter, it's probably okay. Definitely in terms of safety. At least that's what I'm assuming, because it's definitely safer to stay off the freaking highway. No, I was wrong. There's no sidewalk where I'm at now either. There is a shoulder, so I'm driving along the shoulder. And the reason I didn't call a taxi is because I'm pretty much out of freaking money. It's too expensive. Like a war on poverty, the way this world is, or this country at least. Not everywhere. There's some good stuff. In Asheville, we've got 12 baskets. You can get a free meal, even a vegan meal, and cat food for that matter, and dog food. 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to, well, they might have changed the hours, but 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. is what it used to be. They'll even give out produce or bread, all for free. Now that's a Christian organization right there. Better than most. I'm tired of fake Christians. You know? That's why I might seem like an atheist. Because it's just ridiculous how many Christians are ready to murder. You know, God is ready to murder, apparently. I can see that maybe that's a misinterpretation, but the Bible really does have clear evidence that God is a murderer, and that is contradictory to God's character. So I guess it's potential to say that the Bible was tampered with, or written by fallible man. So if there is a perfect God, which doesn't seem possible in an imperfect world, seems contradictory. Seems like if God is perfect, then everything would be perfect. Well, I would go so far as to say if God is everything, but relative to a lot of people who label God with a male patriarchy, it's real important to realize if I'm saying God, I should also say goddess, in my opinion. So if God and goddess are perfect, I can see an individual God and goddess being perfect, but it's contradicted by the problems. And so that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is universalism. God is everything, but if God is everything, that's what I started this particular rant about, then everything must be perfect. If God is perfect and God is everything, then everything must be perfect. And everything must, is God. That's the issue, though, that I had with Matt Dillahunty. God is a word. It's obvious. I don't know how he can say there's no such thing as the word God. He's a moron to not acknowledge the word exists. That's all I was trying to say when I called him up one time. And I was hoping he wouldn't hang up on me, but he didn't seem to believe in the word God. Absolute atheism. Can't even respect truth. But in regards to the word God, then the conversation I really wanted to have with Matt was, what does it mean? What does the word God mean? What is it? What is this? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. Semantics. So let's define, or not, I could say God is an atheist, and I can prove that that particular God could be perfect. Why? Because the God of the Bible seems to be evil from one perspective. And in context of having an evil God, well, atheism is that perfection that zeroes out God. And in that context, when there is no such thing as God, at least there's good enough atheism, or humanist atheism. On the other hand, it gets ridiculous if there is a reality that is labeled God. Now, labels are labels. Semantics is semantics. It's really important, however, to figure out what those semantics represent. And that's the conversation I wanted to have with Matt Dillahunty of the Atheist Experience. Unfortunately, he was too bullheaded and just as stupid as the Christians that he insults, at least on that day. So as soon as I called him up, he assumed, since they require somebody to say, are you an atheist? Or answer the question, are you an atheist or a Christian when you call up the Atheist Experience? You have to say, okay, I'm on the atheist line, or okay, I'm on the Christian line. I didn't want to be labeled, but they made me choose one. And so they didn't make me choose one. The filter and the greeter did not make me choose one, but they put me on after hearing that I had a proof for God. And simply the proof for God was that the Word exists. I wanted to start with that conversation, that the Word God obviously exists, and see where we could go from there. But Matt hung up the phone on me before he even gave it a chance to talk about semantics or the actual definition of God. So he's stuck on his shtick, is the best compliment I can give Matt Dillahunty as an atheist. Now, if he could really acknowledge truth, we could have had a good conversation. But obviously, my criticism is if he's criticizing the Christians for their dogma and their inability to accept truth and inability to look at science and all the things he said, he's got to live up to the same standard that he's criticizing them for not living up to. And he doesn't. And so, frankly, I stopped calling the Atheist Experience because it wasn't intelligent enough for me to take a part in the conversation. And, of course, I'm sure when he hung up, he thought, wow, what a stupid guy. Thinks God is a word. In that moment, Matt was more of a stupid Christian than all the stupid Christians he's ever insulted. Because he stood up and said, stupid guy thinks God is just a word. Well, no, but I wanted to have a starting point to discuss the semantics of God and what that means to him or to Christians or to me or whatever. Unfortunately, he was too bullheaded to have that conversation and hung up on me. And you can see that video on my channel. I put it in one of my playlists. As well as I had a really good conversation that's also in my playlist with, I'm forgetting her name off the top of my head. Looks a little like Sigourney Weaver, but obviously isn't. It's the lady that, I'm sorry to forget the name, that is hosting the Atheist Experience sometimes. There's many women. Not trying to insult the women. And for a while, I really did respect Matt Dillahunty until I called up and he hung up on me, which isn't that big a deal. But I think Matt had to stick up his. I'm sorry. He was stuck on his shtick, and that's the best compliment I can give. People shouldn't get stuck on their shtick. If they're really interested in truth, they need to be open-minded enough to listen to the truth, even if it's a lie, and then come back with a greater truth if the truth that somebody is talking about is a lie. Because we live in that world where there's too much fake news, fake truth, people's shticks, people's opinions. Opinions are relative, but they're not necessarily true. But a truth, when in peer review with other people's truth, that's the better way to truth seek. Is, okay, I know what I know, and then I call up Matt, and he knows what he knows, and if we can actually have a conversation, maybe we can get to a greater truth, whether it's atheism or something else. But the point is to be open-minded to what the truth is, not completely closed-minded. And that's my rant relative to Matt Dillahunty at the moment. And I'm still zipping down in the bike lane along East Adamo Drive while people sort of fly by me doing 50 miles an hour. And I'm almost to my destination. Further. Wanted to document this for posterity, safety's sake, and just to show that it's never good to completely rely on a GPS. It comes in handy, but earlier I recorded some videos, and maybe I'll splice them together for this one, where obviously the computer was taking me down one-way roads and making me go onto highways when I very clearly clicked the feature on MapQuest to avoid highways. I don't think it's reasonable to have to go down a one-way road. They need to fix their MapQuest. Now, it is possible that I made a mistake. It's not always easy to get everything right. Maybe I clicked on the walk feature instead of the drive feature. And in that way, maybe that's why they took me down the one-way road. I'm not so stuck on my shtick that I can't self-edit and self-criticize my own truth. But I am a Sagittarius. And according to astrology, Sagittarius is supposed to be the truth seeker. Although I have Jupiter in Capricorn, so I feel as though I'm a little bit progressed from truth seeking. I prefer to say I know what I know. I'm not necessarily lost in the woods with faith. Faith is integral when you're lost in the woods. I think I know where I'm going, but that's not knowing where you're going. So I would say I know where I'm going. And I'm not in any doubt about where I'm going. But when I am, it's nice to know that the sidewalk is not closed and the MapQuest works rather than sends me the wrong way. And of course, I also clicked on avoid road closures. I'm getting back on the freaking 2-lane highway here. Because the sidewalk's closed. Not that I want to ride on the sidewalk. I'm not even sure it's legal. There's no sign. And there was no bike lane until just now, and now there's a bike lane, so I'm more comfortable legally riding in the bike lane, although I really wish it was a safer way to travel than, because it's too close to the highway. They really need to separate it by about at least 5 feet. That would be nice. I'm about a little bit to go. A little bit of ways to go. I wanted to document what I was just talking about for a while. Glad I was able to mention that. If anybody has the patience to watch this video, maybe I don't know. I just don't have the time or the money to invest in more professional videos. I'd like to be able to have the time to splice them and edit them, and sometimes I have that kind of time, but not while I'm in Florida. All I've got to work with is my little cell phone. I can do a lot with the cell phone, though, relatively speaking. It's not just about, I don't know. I've gotten used to the cell phone, but I'm also, I don't trust it. I mentioned that in another video. Sometimes the cell phone seems to lead to scams. I got ripped off by some guy who said he was a Reverend Mark. I was looking for a rental. Reverend Mark on Craigslist said, oh yeah, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 700 deposit, 800 a month, 450 utilities. It was a beautiful house too. I saw the pictures on Craigslist. So I wrote him a letter, said, I'm interested. I'm in the area, I've got 2 cats. Maybe I can get that property from you and rent it. Unfortunately, he said, okay, I'm in Nevada, and, I need to know you're interested, so I'll send you the keys in exchange for 50. He started by saying I need the deposit, and then I said, well, I don't have 700, nor are you here, so I'm not ready to send 700 to Nevada, so I don't know where you are, I don't know who you are. So then he said, okay, well, send me $100 towards the deposit, and then I'll know you're interested. And I was like, I can't even afford that. And then he said, okay, well, maybe a $50 gift card from Amazon. And I need that as a good faith gesture that you're interested, and I'll reserve the house for you and make sure you can get into it to check it out. But you can't move in until you put the deposit down. But I'll send you the keys if you send me a $50 Amazon gift card. And we hashed it out for a little while. I said, I don't know about that. I don't know you. And he said he's a reverend. Not that you can trust a reverend. Of course, he had a Jamaican accent. I was like, are you Rastafarian? He didn't answer. It's like, I can respect that. Either way, I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Without trust, you miss so many opportunities. But it's true that if you trust too much, there's a downside to empathy. And people will take advantage of too easily. But anyway, so he basically said, I need a good faith gesture that you're interested, and I'll reserve the house for you and send you the keys so you can check out the house. And I fell for it like a moron. Basically sent him $50 gift card. As soon as I sent it, the next day he called back, said, my lawyer's really upset with me for doing what I did. I should not have, my lawyer said I should not send the keys to you for $50. Well, I was like, you haven't sent the keys yet. And he was like, yeah, but my lawyer asked me to make sure I get at least $100. At that point, I knew it was a scam. I should have known from the beginning. So he was asking for more money. I hashed it out with him for a little while. I'm open to talking to people, but freaking moron. Scam artist. So eventually I called the Amazon back once I realized it was a scam to try to cancel the card before he spent it. Turns out he spent it immediately. And turns out the Amazon agent told me, which he said he wasn't supposed to say, that that particular email that I sent the card to had been involved in a bunch of other scams too. Well, why do they let that through if they already know that? You know, where is the protection for people in the virtual world? Why do the wizards behind the curtain get to rule everything, and it's so criminal within the virtual world and frankly outside of the virtual world? And I'm not asking the question to get an ironic answer. Of course, the point is everybody deserves better. I just passed, no wait, where am I? I passed my motel. I got so into this video, I just went right past the motel. Actually, I'm right in front of it. So I'm going to close this video in just a minute. So anyway, long story short, he ripped me off for $50. So I went to the courthouse today to file for Smalls Claims Court. Hopefully I can track this guy down. And the main reason I did that was I don't care about the 50 so much, although I'm low income, so it's definitely important to get that back if possible. But the point is he took advantage of other people. Somebody needs to do something to stop the scam artist, especially when he poses as a reverend, but, you know, I should have known better. That's what I'm so upset with about fake Christians, because most of them are fake. Seriously. They say, oh, I'm a Christian. Donald Trump says, I'm a Christian. And then on his first military action, he kills an 8-year-old American citizen, a little girl, in a drone strike. That's not Christian. You know, all those Donald Trump Christians, I'm Christian, this is a Christian nation. And then they cheer when the towel heads, I've heard Christians say that all the time, towel heads are getting killed. It's fucking racism. And murder is evil. Murder is not Christian. Don't even think to call yourself a Christian if you're a murderer. And honestly, I take it to a higher level. I'm a vegan. I don't claim to call myself a Christian, but by not killing and taking it to the highest level, at least in the context of not killing, I'm definitely, frankly, and this is going to piss off some fake Christians, I'm better than God in the context that God is a murderer. Now, you know, you can argue and say God's not a murderer, and then maybe I'm not better than God. I'm not perfect, but I do the best I can. And if everybody could say, okay, I'm doing the best I can, there'd be good enough. You know, and if I love that
In 150
stupid
feet,
Nickelback song. It's not
destination.
stupid, I'm sorry. I just hit a bump and got fiery.
In 80 feet, you are approaching your destination.
If nobody killed, we'd see the day that nobody died. There's actually some truth to that. And if nobody killed, to the highest degree, we'd have much more of a utopian reality. And of course, if we work together for that utopian reality to create a better world where there's happiness, you know, my measure of success, a successful society, the measure of success for a successful society is how much food is available. Imagine food everywhere. Imagine, you know, the garden, so to speak, full of fruit trees and free food and food everywhere, you know? With all the technology, we could have a technological garden. Make sure everybody has all the food they need. I think it was a huge mistake for capitalism to charge for food. You know, Native Americans say, how can we sell the earth and the sky? How can we sell the water and our Mother Earth? It's about time to acknowledge the higher truths and fix it. And that's the end of this video. I'm going to turn this off at my destination. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. That's the first time I said that. I didn't think I was ever going to say that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. That's all they say on YouTube. Gets annoying sometimes. If people like the video, they will like and subscribe. They don't need me to tell them. Like and subscribe at the end of every video. But I guess people are making money, and that's why they're like, oh, you gotta subscribe to my video. To my channel. Where is this stupid screen thing? I wish it was easier. You have to go into the apps to turn off this easy screen recorder. I guess that's how they get away with stealing people's information.